Welcome everybody to the City Council tonight. Appreciate you being here. It's a few minutes past 5, and so we'd like to go ahead and call this Santa Clara City Council meeting to order. I'm Mayor Rick Rosenberg. We have tonight from the council, Councilwoman Lena Mathis, Councilman Jarrett Waite, Councilman Denny Drake. We'll excuse Councilman Shakespeare and Councilman Gubler as they're both out of town tonight. We'd like to begin the meeting with an opening ceremony and pledge of allegiance. We've asked Councilman Wade if he would lead us in that. Would everyone please rise and salute the flag?
Please follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our dear Heavenly Father, we're very grateful for this opportunity we have to be together tonight in the City Council meeting. We're so grateful for this wonderful country we have to live in and for this wonderful community we have around us. We're also grateful for the moisture we have received recently and pray for continued moisture. We do ask for a blessing on all those that were in that terrible accident on I-15 in Meadow and Kanosh. Please bless those families as they get through this hard time. We're grateful for the wonderful citizens of our community and pray that we'll be able to serve them the best as we can tonight and make good decisions that will be pleasing to them and to thee, and say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Jarrett. Do we have any communications or appearances? Anyone here to address the council other than an agenda item? Nothing in the back? Nothing up there? I have nothing. Conflicts and disclosures? Council? If I can get my agenda to respond, I do have one conflict. If Alan's in the room, I have a conflict. Every time I touch it, it gets bigger.
If you could leave it that big, I could.
Item
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, with item 1, the preliminary plat for Vineyards Phase 11. My firm or the engineering firm I'm employed with is doing the engineering on that one. Any other conflicts, council? Okay, then we'll go ahead and move on into working agenda. There are no public hearings scheduled for tonight. We do have on the consent agenda approval of the claims and minutes, the July 14th regular city council meeting minutes and the claims through July 28th. And then the calendar of events. Work meeting is next week on the 4th, regular meeting on the 11th. UAMPS meeting is 15th to the 18th and regular meeting on 25th. Be aware of that. Hopefully everybody's got your travel arrangements made for UAMPS. And then we need to set a public hearing regarding power rate increase for August 11th at 5 p.m. Will that change? That goes away, right?
Yes, we just, that can be tabled. We don't need to.
Okay, so we don't need item number 3 at this point in time. When will that be? Do you want to go ahead and set it for September or later in the month?
Yes, September 4th.
No,
That's a work meeting.
September 8th is the first regular meeting. So we can set
Okay,
it
so
for,
if we can, council, as part of your motion, if you can note setting the public hearing for September 8th instead of August 21st. Any questions on that discussion? Anybody willing to make a motion for the consent agenda?
I'd move that we accept the consent agenda, which includes the claims, and with the change of the public hearing for the power rate increase to be September 8th, 2021.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Denny and a second by Jarrett to approve the consent agenda with the modification of the date for the public hearing to September 8th. Any question on that motion? This is a roll call item. Denny?
Aye.
Jarrett?
Aye.
Lena?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you, council. Item C1, consider approval of preliminary plat for Vineyards Phase 11 subdivision, north of Santa Clara River, east of Vineyard Drive. Applicant is Kent Fry. Bob?
Okay, thank you. This is a preliminary plat for the Vineyard subdivision Phase 11.
So you'll see it again as it comes through on a final plat. The applicant is Kent Fry, who's here, and also the engineers Alan Hall. The two of them represent the audience tonight. The subdivision's located in an RA zone, which requires half-acre lots. These lots are all half-acre up to three-quarter acre in size. Let's see, Christelle, if you can pull up that plat, and we'll, or Brock, who's got that? There we go. The lots will be located along new public streets, the extension of Claude Drive, and a new cul-de-sac street. All of the proposed lots are outside the 100-year floodway. A 6-foot tall privacy wall is proposed along Vineyard Drive. And if you notice at Vineyard Drive, there's no access to the lots. The lots are all accessed from the interior extension of Claude Drive. So there'll be a 6-foot privacy wall along Vineyard Drive with a 10-foot wide planter strip on the street side of the wall. Lot number 5 is a proposed cul-de-sac, or excuse me, is a proposed flag lot with a 25-foot wide stem per the requirement. So the density of the subdivision is 1.3 homes per acre. That's 20 lots on 15 acres. So the proposed subdivision meets the standards of the RA zone, and the main issues deal with access to the Santa Clara River for emergency purposes, extension of utility lines, trail easements, and storm drainage plans. The applicant has agreed to the following. Some of these are shown on the plat, but one is dedicated access easement to the river to the city, provide riprap and other erosion hazard mitigations as required by the city, provide storm drainage as per city engineers requirements, for meet all other utility and street installation standards as required by the city. So staff reviewed it, feel it's ready for approval. The Planning Commission unanimously approved this phase 11 preliminary plat, and specifically also approved the flag lot, which is lot number 5. I don't know if you have any questions for me or the applicant or Alan.
Questions for Bob, council, for the staff?
Yeah, can you review on like lot 18 and 19, how that floodplain line will affect those lots in the future?
You know, I am going to let Alan address that. I missed the Planning Commission meeting. I was out of town, so it's one of those details, but so I'll let Alan.
Alan Hall with Rosenberg Associates. Behind the sewer line, well, actually behind the lot, between the lot and there will be some added riprap, and that portion will be removed from the floodplain.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Probably a Lomer F process after the fill's been in place. So depending on the timeline, the floodplain could be removed before the plat records.
I have a question on the landscape strip, and I don't know if that is for you or for you, Kent. The 10-foot landscape strip, is there an HOA being created to maintain the landscape strip? There is. Okay. Okay. Good little
Provides a
water.
job for his sons.
Oh, contract. Any other questions for the applicant? Does the applicant have anything he wants to add? Kent's never not said that. I knew he couldn't do it.
We're very good. I need to state my name.
Yes, and your address.
Kent Fry, 385 Michael Circle. No, we're really excited, and there were a couple of surprises as we did the engineering on this, that because I haven't did something like this for a long time. But on Vineyard, in correlation with the SID, some of that road and walls and stuff will be done probably after the subdivision, actually, depending on how the city moves along. But we're excited about the landscaping and the trees. Even though there's a wall there, I think it will add a green environment that will really be pleasing to Vineyard Drive. And with that, since we have to do an association to maintain that, we decided we'd do a streetscape, and it shows you there off to the side if you know what you're looking at. But we're going to do a streetscape a lot like Cottonwood. So we're going to make sure there's a lot of trees and lawn in the front yards that'll be taken care of by an association. And the other thing that's getting pretty unique, especially with Santa Clara, is the irrigation water that's going to be there for everybody and everything to keep these places very green with hopefully a lot of trees and growth. So it'll give it a good feel.
Are you putting a secondary system into these lots?
Absolutely.
City, and you still want to pursue the city system in there and provide some water to the
With
city?
the way the conservative water conservative fees are, I think absolutely. I just talking to Justin about them, and
So this will operate similar to Roan on the
Very
irrigation.
similar to Rome.
Okay.
Kent's got water in both companies, right?
we do.
Both the upper and the lower. We can talk about
So anyway, that's just doesn't change much, but it just tells you a little bit about the development and how we're excited. I think it's actually going to be more appealing with the streetscape than, and even though it's not a traffic street, I am already getting a little bit of heat on the change on Vineyard by a couple of people that's starting to hear about it. And of course they think it's ridiculous, and I'm excited about it. Actually, if my wife leaves at the same time to go to church, we're going to be there on time because we're cutting the distance in half.
Well, it's been a long time coming. We're excited. I'm excited to see it happen too. That's great.
Anyway, I'd be pleased to answer any questions if you have any.
Ken, are you proposing any changes to the irrigation line in the back, like lots 1 through 5?
No.
Just stay where it is.
Yes.
So lot 5 will have a bigger easement in the back.
The easement will stay just right where it's at. It's really an enormous lot.
Mhm.
And the only thing on 5 that is pertinent, and I went into a little bit of shock to find out what it costs to move a power pole on that power line.
Mhm.
But we're going to move the power, kind of square it up with the road so there's a little more buildable area there to put a house. But the lot is a humongous lot, so even with the easement and so on, it'll be a very nice lot.
Any other questions, council? Okay, if there's no other questions, thank you, Kent. Appreciate
You're
you.
welcome.
We would look for a motion.
Okay, I'll make the motion that we approve the preliminary plat for Vineyards Phase,
11.
is it 11? Okay, Phase 11 subdivision.
Second.
Got a motion by Lena and a second by Denny to approve the preliminary plat for Vineyards Phase 11 subdivision. I'm guessing that would be subject to the conditions of planning commission
Correct.
put on it and staff. You're okay with your second?
I am.
Okay, roll call vote. All in favor, Lena?
Aye.
Jarrett?
Aye.
Denny?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, guys. Item number 2, consider approval of the waterway program and approve resolution 2021-11R. Christelle?
Hi. Hey, Brock, do you mind pulling up that link at the very end of that document where it says
That one?
adopt? Yeah. So this has the whole map, what he's pulling up. But we bring this to the work meeting last time and we had a few questions and changes to the map. This is the program with City of St. George. They have requested assistance with called Southern Utah Adopt a Waterway. The program is targeting our local waterways with combined efforts, including citizens, volunteer groups, and municipalities. Santa Clara City has joined this program to enhance and beautify the Santa Clara River and Tuacahn Wash areas. The Washington County Flood Control is funding the majority of this, but as we discussed in last work meeting, the lava wash areas are not covered by the Flood Control Authority funds. And that is if you want to zoom into that map, Brock, up by the lava wash area, we removed that section that the mayor informed me didn't exist last time, that was on there, that shouldn't have been on there. Then those other sections, they aren't covered by in the Lava Ridge wash area, they are not covered by the Flood Control Authority of funds. So if we would still like to include the sections in the program, it would be a small cost to the city. The cost for signage for those sections within the Lava Ridge wash, it would be roughly $270, $90 per sign installed if we choose to still install the signs there. And then the only other item that needs to be accounted for is the trash bags, which is the only thing we're providing to the volunteers. The program is purchasing the bags for about $67 for a box of 50. These are the industrial ones that the street department uses. And then any other costs would come down to labor costs and internal functions. So that pretty much sums it up, as long as that map is correct now, Mayor. I know you had a question about the that bottom wash in
Yes.
St. George.
Sand Hollow, they've got
Yeah,
it.
that part is in St. George's area, so they'll be adopting that section within their city.
Okay. Should we fight them for it? Wash is actually more in Santa Clara than it's in St.
They
George.
automatically put it in St. George, so I mean, whatever we
We
want
can
to do.
let them administrate it, I guess. We may have some residents along there, but they could do the adopt a waterway with St. George. I'm good. If St. George is willing, as long as it's covered
Okay.
by the program, I think I'm good with it. Council, if you guys are.
And then all the documentation is included in that packet, and that's what the groups will fill out, and that's the agreement with the city and all the rules. And there'll be one person over each group that we'll meet with and go over everything with, and then meet them out there on the site. And Scott and I will mark the location of each section, so they'll know where to pick up and clean up. And then we'll meet with, as discussed last time, we'll make sure with any owners getting
Yeah,
going
you
across their properties.
need to meet with pretty much all of the property owners out there, with the exception of the Santa Clara River one at Roan. All of those are still privately. We do have some easements through some of them, but you still need to meet with all the property owners and talk about what we're doing, because they need to access through the private property to even get to the river.
Yeah.
For a lot of those apps. So they need to talk about not only getting in the river, but how they want to get in the river or get to the river with them.
And the solid waste district, are they aware of this, that clean up periodically? What do we do with it? Do we leave it on the street side? How do they collect it?
I think the way they presented it, Christelle, correct me if I'm wrong, but the city crews would, on the dates when it was scheduled, city crews would pick it up and take it to a site that they would, either a dumpster at some location,
And pick it up at
and then they pick
kind of
it
like
up
the
there.
park, but
Yeah.
the Little League Park or whatever.
Yeah, that's what we'll coordinate it with the street crew or public works to clean up, so they're not just, the trash isn't just sitting there.
I wish Wendell was here, because they were supposed to talk about that with solid waste when they met on where the city crews take it. I don't think they're expecting the city to take it to the landfill and pay the fees,
Oh, yeah.
but coordinate with them on where do we take it to.
Okay, we'll find that out.
Okay. Any questions for Christelle, council?
This is just a little thing on the program checklist
Mm-hmm.
where it takes you to the St. George City website.
Yeah.
Will there be any confusion of them trying to use the forms on that website versus what we're providing here?
I think what I'll do, I could ask you guys' opinion on this, because the St. George has like it on their site. I could either have a link on our site, like with Southern Utah Adopt a Waterway and have it like linked to St. George's site with our forms on their site, or I could just create our own page on our site and have this same map on our site, which that would be fine as well. I was just waiting for approval to do that.
Yeah, I would put it on our site and keep them separate. I think it'd
Okay.
be easier for you if you're the administrator.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you guys want the map on our site to just show the areas in our city? I could have them just show our city.
Yeah, just,
Okay.
I mean, it's that map that's in the packet, right?
Yeah. Just with that one area that was removed. Okay, I'll make that link for our site. And then that should be ready.
Any other questions, comments, council?
Will you be updating, if we do that, will you be updating St. George? So if someone goes into St. George's site, because they have ours on their site as well. So if they go to their site, it doesn't say, no, this isn't adopted, when in reality, it may be if we've got it.
Yeah, yeah, they're all linked.
They're
so,
all coordinated.
yeah, so we can see
Okay.
it, everyone's, and it will all update.
When you talk to the new St. George coordinator, because their old one's gone,
Yeah.
again, when they talk about the Sand Hollow Wash, all of the maintenance accesses to the Sand Hollow Wash come from the Santa Clara side.
Okay.
So the St. George people will be contacting residents in Santa Clara to get the access to the wash. Just make sure they're aware of that.
Okay.
And yeah, because that's been a little tricky one. So they're actually using probably a Santa Clara City access, the one that goes down between the lots. That'll probably be the primary one they'll use for that wash. It's the easiest one to get back there. And then the Haven Lane extension on Dean Terry's on the other end. So those two. But they'll need to talk to, I mean, there's no publicly owned corridor. It's private property back there, a lot of it. So just make sure they're aware of that. Whoever the new guy is, I don't know who's going to take. Is it
Yeah,
Brandon?
I'm not sure.
Brandon
We can
Burrows?
I'm sure we could change it to Santa Clara if that would be easier.
It might be easier just because the people that, when we did the Flood Control Authority did the wash realignment and all that work a few years ago, we developed the relationships with those people. It might be easier for us to do that, but like I say, if they want to administer it, I'm fine with it. They just have to work with Santa Clara people to get in there.
Yeah, maybe just that one section.
Yeah, from the
Santa
Villa
Clara-
Bonita,
Hollow Wash 9.
is it Villa Bonita up to the end of the concrete channel? That's
Yeah.
all. That's all in Santa Clara.
Okay, I'll talk to them about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I would. I think it'd be easier if we administer that one because that's our residents.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know who their new guy's going to be.
Would you like a motion to include the cost for the signage and the trash bags?
Yeah, I think the lava flow is definitely needed, and Flood Control Authority just can't help fund it because it's not one of the regional washes.
Okay.
So that would come out of the city, but it's not a lot of money. The signage and trash bags, it's not a big fund, and that's one of the most visible washes that we have. The trail runs all the way along it, so I would, please. Yeah. And that's city-owned properties.
Okay, then I'll make the motion that we approve the waterway program and approve resolution 2021-11R, including cost for the signage at approximately $90 per sign and the cost for providing trash bags.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any question on that motion? It needs to also include resolution 2021-11R. The motion.
I think I said that,
Oh,
but
did you? Okay, maybe I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
I was kind of quiet.
Okay. So I've got a motion by Lena and a second by Jarrett. Any question on the motion? All in favor, roll call, Lena,
Aye.
Jarrett,
Aye.
Benny.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Christel.
Thank you.
Consider approval of the Snow Jensen rate increase presented by Brock.
Yeah, so Stone Jensen and Reese, Matt Ants has been the city attorney since 2014. And at that time, our agreement had set rates at $150 for general city matters and $175 an hour for litigation matters. We've met with Matt, representing Stone Jensen and Reese, that need to relook at those rates just in a current market, and has brought to the mayor and I proposal of raising those rates hopefully by $75 an hour. So it would take our general city matters rate to $225 an hour and litigation matters to $250 an hour. So raising those each by $75 an hour. Myself, the mayor, we're supportive of that. We feel the service that we've gotten through Matt and Snow Jensen and Reese has been outstanding. So we would recommend that we approve that hourly rate increase for our city attorney.
So they haven't had a rate increase since
2016? Since 2014. So I mean, we were getting a heck of a deal at $150 an hour. Still getting I think a good deal. Still getting one at $225. So as you know, Matt, he's local. He's from here. He was on city council. So Matt has, loves Santa Clara, and I think it's been a great fit. And so I think it's well worth having Matt around Snow Jensen as our city attorney.
And is it okay if I say something?
Oh,
yeah. Well, first of all, Brock's right. I do love working with the city. And if it was feasible to keep the rates at what they were at, I would be happy to keep the rates at what they were at. But the reality is, for me and for my partners, who I'm also responsible to, it's become a question of what work am I passing by in order to keep doing the city's work at the rates that we were doing it at. My regular hourly billing rate is $300 an hour. And so looking at various things with my partners at the firm, recognizing that, about 20% of my work on average was being billed at 50% of what my regular rate is, ultimately isn't sustainable from a business perspective. And so this is not a situation of, if the city council decided that these increased rates were too high, or if you wanted to, open this up and look elsewhere for city attorney services, I would be disappointed, but not, but would be completely understanding of that. It's just the reality is for us, the continuing to provide the city services at those rates just wasn't sustainable anymore. So I anticipate that we'll probably be able to service you at these higher rates probably for the next 5 or 6 or 7 years again, but we'll just see what happens, Anyway, appreciate your consideration of this.
Thanks, Matt. Council? Any questions on the billing rate agreement? If not, I'd look for a motion.
I move that we approve the rate increase for Snow Jensen and Reese from the 150, 175 rate to the 225, 250 rate, and continue to build on that relationship.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Denny and a second by Jarrett. Any question on that motion, council? Money item roll call, Denny?
Aye.
Jarrett?
Aye.
Lena?
Aye.
The ayes have it. We appreciate everything you do, Matt. And I really appreciate the 5-year commitment.
Well,
And we noted that in a minute.
Well, I thank the council for that acknowledgement. of our services. The one other thing maybe I'll just mention, Brock, is one of the things Brock has requested that I do is basically have a regular time every week where I am here at the city offices. I don't know if this had been mentioned to you before, but so every week, Wednesday afternoons from about 2 to 5, I'll actually be here at the city, just available. I'll bring other work with me if there's not city work to do, but I'll be here and available if Brock needs me. And frankly, if any of you, have a question, want to meet with me, you'd be welcome to do it at that time too. So we're going to make that a regular thing every week, and happy to do that. Happy to make myself available to the city any way I can. So
We tried. We about filled up his 2 to 5 today.
yeah, I have a feeling that 3 hours is going to be, most weeks pretty full with city issues. So
Well, thanks again, Matt. We appreciate you. Okay, item 4, Jack Taylor Consulting Agreement. Is Jack on Zoom? Huh? Am I going to hear a voice from above?
If you probably texted him right now, it'd probably be, oh, shoot. Is that done meeting I'm supposed to be at?
Okay, Brock.
So when Jack retired from the city in mid-April, we retained him really on as our UAMPS representative and as a consultant to help out the transition with the new department heads of Dustin and Gary. So we had Matt draw up this agreement. So it's really kind of been operating without the agreement in place. But the agreement is for till the end of December. At that time, if he's needed, we could relook at that. But the anticipation is at that time, Gary will take over as our UAMPS representative. When at UAMPS, that's when the new changes on the boards elections are. And so we anticipate Gary will get on some of those boards that Jack has been on. And at that time, transition away if needed, Dustin and Gary needing his help. So the compensation for that is $700 a month from the city, as UAMPS pays Jack up to $400 a day for 2 days for his travel and work there at UAMPS. So he'd be getting $800 for a monthly UAMPS trip, which would make his compensation at $1,500 a month. And at $700 that comes out of from the city. So.
And we're anticipating this to be for a set period of time.
Till December 31st, 2020.
Okay.
Through the end of the year.
Mhm.
Questions for Brock, council, about the agreement? Or Gary?
Is he worth it? Yeah. You don't have to answer to him
He's not
anymore.
on the
You could
phone.
say no. It doesn't matter.
Okay, if there's no questions, council, I'd look for a motion.
I'll make that motion. I move that we approve Jack Taylor's consultant agreement as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by Jarrett and a second by Lena to approve the consulting agreement with Jack Taylor as presented. Any question on that motion? Roll call, Lena,
Aye.
Jarrett,
Aye.
Denny.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Passes unanimously. Thank you, council.
Will Jack be attending the conference with us?
Yes, I think so, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going out a few days early. He's going out on Friday. So.
Good.
He's taking his wife with him too, first time in ever.
Correct. Yeah. First time she's been able to go. She's
Since
won't be
she
in school.
retired.
So.
Okay, reports, mayor and council reports. Lena?
I have not had any meetings in the last 2 weeks, so I do not have anything to report. I'll let Brock report on our interview this morning. So
Thank you, Jarrett.
I attended the chamber event last night at the Dixie Center for meeting municipal candidates. I feel like the chamber did a really good job providing a forum for candidates to meet their constituents. It was very busy. They had candidates there from Santa Clara, Ivins, Washington, and St. George. And there was only one candidate from Santa Clara, which I thought was interesting.
Jimmy?
Krista was there.
Oh, Krista.
Krista Hinton. She had a great booth, and
Lowry's daughter-in-law.
yeah, Lowry was there campaigning for her and her husband, and she had a great setup. And I spoke with her, was very impressed. And so I think we have a great slate of candidates for this coming election. I'm excited for it. And then I had a question. It's probably for Chris. On my vacation, I took my trusty Duties and Powers book that I'm still trying to get through. We're 6 years into being a councilman. And on page 61, something jumped out at me that I wanted to ask about. It said that there's supposed to be a bond taken out for every council member when they're elected. I just want to double check that there is a bond for me.
City has bonds. The city has bonds that covers the mayor and council.
Okay. I just thought that was interesting. So basically, if one of us screws up, there's a bond to cover our mistake.
Kind of
Is
like
that kinda what it's for?
omissions type thing, so.
I just thought that was really interesting.
It's a bond on the council and a bounty on the mayor.
Oh, there you go. And then last night at the Meet the Candidates night, I wore my Santa Clara shirt, and maybe I shouldn't have, but I got cornered by some residents, and they were very concerned about the uptick in the Delta variant and if Santa Clara would require masks or vaccines at any point. I just wanted to be made very clear that they would not support the council requiring masks or vaccines. And so I countered with, we would want to follow what Dr. Blodgett says and what good medical professionals are telling us. But I didn't think any of us were really hard line either way, but we would want to look at all the sides of the issue. And it was about a 30-minute discussion on basically the liberty to choose what you do to your body and how you dress yourself and all that sort of stuff. So just something that might be coming down the line, because I know I just read today that several amusement parks in Florida are requiring masks again. And I think Vegas is back on masks.
The CDC.
Yeah, the CDC is
requirements
recommending.
changed and recommending masks again. So I'm interested to see. We've got the mayor's call next week, next Tuesday, with the health department. I'm interested to see what the latest and greatest news is from them, as well as the school district. Everything we have received so far has indicated that school is going to open more of a business as usual. No mask, no testing for sports. But with the CDC article today and the increase in cases, I know the hospital is extremely, I don't want to say they're full, but a lot of their beds are occupied with COVID patients. And so there is some concern. I saw a blog, Dr. Ferguson, who is on our call, appealing people to please get vaccinated. Most of the patients they're seeing are unvaccinated, and there's a real concern there. And so next Tuesday, we'll have our monthly call and kind of see what everybody's thinking, and I'll report back to you. But we don't have any plans right now. I think you're right on when you say, well, when the health department gives us the recommendation, we'll probably follow it, just like we did before. And unless you guys want to do something different.
Yeah, and they brought up like the cities up north where the mayors required masks. And I said, well, it's a little different setup in Southern Utah. I think it'd have to be the council would decide that. So it's not just one person. You have to convince at least 3 to do something like that. And they also really wanted me to study out alternate voices on vaccines. Because I basically explained like, yeah, I don't think I would force people to take a vaccine, but I might try to convince them to do so. And they weren't very happy with that response either. It was more, you don't know what's going to do to people and you don't know the long-term effects. And they cited a couple sources that I'll have to look up. So I at least know what they're talking about if I get approached again. But just, you might get hit with that in the next few months. That's all I have to report.
Santa Clara residents?
Yeah.
I was going to go over to that, but then they said they're charging for tables. And I thought, well, I don't know. I don't want to have to raise money to run.
That's
I'll keep my expenses 0. Thank you, Jarrett. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Danny?
Nothing. Nothing.
Okay. The DTEC meeting met last week. The executive committee for the MPO. Ivans had applied for a raise grant, federal grant, but they determined that the old 91 project wasn't eligible for funding under their guidelines, so they're not going to get it. They gave us a pretty interesting update on the airport. The airport's going through a master plan update right now. They're about halfway done, looking at the next 20-year planning period. They've looked at the environmental issues. They don't see any environmental issues. They do have concerns with adjacent land use encroaching into the airport landing zones, I guess I should say, especially the residential development in Washington and St. George that are encroaching into that. And they want to make sure they protect the airport from future problems. So they're expecting a lot of growth in the air cargo and the fire services support, the fixed base operators. They've identified some significant needs at the terminal. They have more meters and greeters than they have passengers, and they don't have any facilities for the meters and greeters. So if you're going out to drop somebody off or pick somebody up and meet and greet, there's very limited space to do that in the terminal building. So they're looking at also expanding the hold room, which is the gates, the gate area on the other side of security. They're getting enough flights in there now, and they seem to all be leaving about the same time. So those buildings are either completely full or completely empty with the flights that they're getting. And so they're looking to expand that. Concessions on both sides of the security, on the secure and non-secure side, they're going to look at. Right now, there's no food within 20 minutes of the airport, which I guess is problematic, especially if they have delays and stuff like that. There are problems with outbound baggage, some deficiency in that's causing some delays. And then I haven't seen this, but they say they need additional parking, another 1,000 spaces. But over a 20-year planning period, maybe that does come in. They're going to have an open house this fall and review it with the public. And so I'll try and keep you abreast on when that's going to be. It was an interesting presentation. Washington County and VDOT have got a litter control agreement. Washington County, I think I've told you before, has hired a 2-man crew that they use to clean major roadways, predominantly I-15. We can request them to help us if we need assistance. If we have like a volunteer effort and we need them to come over and pick up stuff, we can ask that. The Solid Waste Board is going to coordinate the volunteer efforts over there. They're looking to do sponsor highway programs and try and get some businesses involved in some of the cleanup. And you guys have probably noticed since COVID, the freeways and the major right-of-ways are really getting bad with trash. And so this National Day of Service on September 11th is probably going to hit a bunch of those things. But we do have the ability, if city wants to like do a cleanup project along Santa Clara Drive or Old Highway 91, we can contact the solid waste people and they can come over and assist us with that. So just kind of keep an eye out. Pioneer Parkway would probably maybe be another one. Just some of our major roadways where you don't necessarily, the example they had is they don't necessarily want to turn kids loose on I-15. So they have professional people that go out and do that. When businesses agree to adopt a highway, they actually sponsor a professional to come in and do it. The business may or may not go out and do it itself. So if Science Bank wants to, sponsor the Reach or, the tag, or not tag and go, but the laser tag place, maybe they want to sponsor.
Laser man.
We can get you in business, or just one for old people.
Good. I just want that one lane. Just one lane. Hey, on that, why did they determine that 91 wasn't eligible?
I don't know. They didn't go into a lot of detail on it. The RAISE grant is a federal transportation grant. And I don't know if it was, from what I understand it, you had to meet certain qualifications to be eligible. And the old 91 didn't meet the qualifications. I don't know if it was traffic, if it was capacity, if it was safety. I don't know what it was, but they didn't meet the ones to
That's too bad.
go forward with it.
I mean, the sad part is they're rerouting it. What if we closed it to any 18-wheelers had to go out through Panaca and up that way? I mean, it's just.
I'm good with that. I'm thinking toll booth. Huh? Huh? You want to build the Western Corridor?
Yeah,
That's all we got to do.
toll booth's not
Toll
a bad idea.
Just roll it up there every time they.
Well,
close the
Santa
door.
Clara City owns old 91 from the city
Yeah, start to finish.
lines.
We'll do a pass for residents and start collecting tolls.
And 18 wheelers will pay heavily.
Pay heavily, big time. I think that's the only meeting I have. We do have a, a meeting tomorrow. Councilman Drake and Christelle and I are meeting with the other cities and the water district and going more in depth into the landscaping requirements and that common ordinance. So we do have that meeting tomorrow that's coming up. And there's a meeting with all of the Santa Clara water users with the water district on August the 9th. That's going to provide some explanation to what everybody's doing on the Santa Clara side. The irrigation companies won't be there to this one, but I'd put that on your calendar as well. This is a chance for us to ask some of those hard questions we've been asking.
Yeah.
What happens to the pipeline in 50 years or 35 years or whatever it is now? So I'll send you an invite on it if I haven't already. And you too. And you're optional. You're more than welcome.
August 9th.
August 9th.
I'll look for that invitation.
I'll send it out right here in just a minute. I think that's all I had. Brock, anything from you?
Only thing I'd add, I think I did get the invite to that already. I have two of them there, Santa Clara River one and but they probably think they're the same thing, but I have two invites. So just what Lena touched on, we had interviews this morning for city planner. Previously, we had an interview. We were unable to come to terms with one of the applicants. So we had interviews this morning. We interviewed two and feel like we have somebody to be a great fit as well. And so we will reach out to them and make them an offer of employment and see what they say. But went very well this morning again. So and we'll be able to hopefully report back to you tomorrow with hopefully some good news. So
The gentleman we're going to approach has 15 years plus experience working with small city, large city, metropolitan planning districts. What's it called? The transportations or the mass transit up north?
UTA.
UTA. Has some great experience. Presents himself very well. I think he'd represent the city well, and he could hit the ground running faster than we can probably keep up. So that was a plus. We'll see how the negotiations.
Yeah.
Anything else, Brock?
That's it.
Since we haven't been here an hour, I'm going to give this directors a chance. Anything, Chief? Anything new? Chief? Christelle? Gary?
What was that again, Scott? We did offer an opportunity for somebody to fill a position we had in the power department yesterday. He accepted, so we're just waiting on drug test results, and
Is he
we'll be
local?
good to go. He'll give us He'll give a 2-week notice, and so is he what?
Is he local?
He's from Salt Lake,
So who'd you pirate him from?
Hunt Electric.
I never heard of them. That's good.
Yeah, it's just a contracting company. So
Okay.
And he's good with renting. He's already been looking the last couple of days, looking at places down here to rent. So hopefully he'll be good. He'll stick around for a while. So
That's good.
so as of right now, we have all of our positions filled.
Great.
That's awesome.
That's all I have.
Thanks, Gary. Dustin? Scott? Bob? Any words of wisdom? Okay.
I did want to ask about our free swim day, if we've put that out there yet.
Is it on the?
Okay.
Did you get that thing for my wife? Thank you.
Christelle, in the newsletter, do you have in there for the trash, like the quarterly trash pickup? Is that in there for September?
I don't have, can you hear me on this?
Yep.
I don't have that in there. I need to put that in there.
We
Mitzi
need,
didn't tell me about it. Usually she does.
yeah, we need to move that date
Okay.
to, because I think our date, I was told this from St. George City that because of the day of service on the 11th, that they're taking everything that's normally the district.
Okay.
So that's our day that we normally would do it. So we are asking us to move to the 18th because they'll need all the big dumpsters and stuff for with the day,
Okay. I'll put that in
day
there.
of service. So
Okay.
we look at the 18th.
Okay. There's nothing else. I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss potential
Litigation.
litigation.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Danny and a second by Lena. Any question on the motion? All in favor or roll call? Danny?
Aye.
Jarrett?
Aye.
Lena?
Aye.
Okay, we'll excuse the staff. Thank you guys for the great work that you do. We appreciate you.